Hello all, Trucker Oak here.
Recently, I asked you to send over some questions that you wanted me to answer. I have put together some of those comments, and Luke, the bus driver, has very kindly offered to be my interviewer for this video. Let's get straight into it.
First question, how did you get into truck driving, and was it hard because of your age?
This question definitely came up the most, and I think, judging by the amount of times I got asked this question, it would be easier to do a full-length video on the process of me going through all of the training, getting my licence, applying to different companies, and then obviously getting the job at Stage Truck. So, sorry to disappoint, but I think this one will be better answered in more detail.
Now here's an interesting one, because it's one of the first things I asked you.
How do you find working in this industry as a female? Do you come across any sexism or any issues from other drivers, male or female?
I think that question answered itself by the volume I was asked on this, and have been sort of throughout the last couple of years doing this job. I try to be very kind when I react to when people ask me that question, because I don't think it's asked with bad intentions. I believe people are just surprised. The ratio of male to females in this industry is still far out, because of the volume that I get asked. So no negative experiences that I can think of, but just goes to show that there's still work to be done.
Do you still get the same buzz when you go on holiday to a place that you've been to through work?
If I was to rephrase that, I would say I'm less inclined to have a holiday in a city that I have been for work. Although I feel comfortable and familiar with most of these cities that I've been to, I don't feel the urge to travel there, to pay to go there on holiday. The idea of going camping in the UK, hidden away in the countryside, is far more appealing.
Although I guess if I can lean into that question with a similar experience, is that when you know you're going back to a place that you've been before, you've enjoyed it, that becomes exciting.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you're on
definitely.
tour, you go in back there, you think, oh, this is going to be really great, really enjoyed this, I'm going to get to go do this thing again.
Yeah, again, I think it's just a familiarity.
Absolutely.
Do you have any odd habits when you're away on tour?
Stock up on a lot of chewing gum if I'm going away to Europe. I don't think that's a habit, that's more just what I do. I don't listen to the music of the band that I'm on tour with. I do tend to listen to a lot of music when I'm driving and a lot of UK radio, but I actively avoid that specific band.
Yeah. What did 10-year-old Emily want to do?
I think growing up I had quite a variety of aspirations and goals. I grew up doing a lot of gymnastics, so I think the natural progression for that was probably gymnastics coaching. Through gymnastics I got the idea of wanting to go into stunt work. That came quite young, researching about the British Stunt Register, all the different things needed. I remember reaching out to film studios and just sort of trying to find out more information about this profession. But driving trucks was never something that I grew up wanting to do. It was never some lifelong passion. There was definitely other things that kept me going when I was younger.
Are there any truck drivers in the family?
No. I believe my great-granddad used to be some sort of truck driver. I never met him, and that didn't have any influence on me choosing this job. But yeah, contrary to what a lot of people think, there was nobody that I knew when I passed. I didn't have any contacts in truck driving, let alone the music world. The only person that I knew when I passed my test was the guy that trained me up. That was the only person.
It even makes it even more impressive, doesn't it, really?
Do you find it lonely or boring driving such long distances?
I don't find it lonely, no. I put in the effort to make friends with the crew that I'm with or the other drivers, but similar to that, most truck drivers are quite content in their own company. I think this is a profession where people are okay being on their own. So if you're the most sociable person ever, it's probably not the job for you.
Become a bus driver instead.
What are the strengths that women can bring to the HGV industry?
I really like this question. I really wanted it to be included. I spoke about this with a few colleagues on a tour that I did last Christmas. There was sort of at least one female member within each department, and we spoke about it in catering one day. I think having more women in a male-dominated industry enables the men to perhaps open up slightly more. I think men find it easier to communicate or share their feelings when there's a female around. I don't want to speak for everyone, and that's not always the case. In a traditionally male-dominated world, it can be harder for men to speak out. and I want to change that, and I want more men to speak out. I don't want them to just feel the need to do that when there is a woman present. Yeah, it can be a positive thing having more women in the industry for the emotional side of it.
Absolutely. And as somebody that goes on tour myself, I definitely notice that when there's female presence, it generally makes the men, the guys, the boys act a bit more professional.
I think it tones down the camaraderie and the bravado.
Absolutely. It's much needed, should we say sometimes. Okay. Here's one. Is it a manual or an automatic truck that you drive?
Automatic.
Easy question to answer, wasn't it?
Cut.
I shall see you in the next one.